Sorry about that. All right. Hey, hey, hey. It's your man Sham back again. And man, I'm telling you, this show today, woo, this show today, it's going to be powerful. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be powerful. I'm telling you right now. And, this show is kind of a continuation of last week's show, last Friday's show. And I'll just let you know that, you know, it's, how can I say this? It further proves my point. It further proves my point. You know what I'm saying? It further proves my point, and that things will get crazy out here. So with that being said, here it goes. Shalom Israel. This is your brother Shamal Assad, giving all thanks to the Most High Yahweh and his beloved son Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Today is was it Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. And right now, um I'm just doing a continuation. Um, it's kind of a continuation, but it's also a new show altogether. I want to welcome you guys to episode 7 of the Beginning of Sorrows, a show where we go through current events and how does it relate to Bible prophecy of what could possibly be coming down the pike and how it can affect us as believing Hebrew Israelites. So I want to say for those who watching the show and those who listen to the replay, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for your support. And with that being said, let's get on with the show. Slovakia, give me a minute. Remember, I tell you guys that things gonna get ugly out here, and a lot of our folks gonna get caught up in it. A lot of folks think that stuff is sweet, and that things that they're not gonna get caught up in it. But listen, I say nay. I say that a lot of folks are gonna get caught up in what's to come. A lot of folks are gonna get caught up in what's to come. You know? And listen, what's coming down the pike, I assure you, it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. So with that being said, let's start off with a theme show scripture. The theme show scripture. Matthew chapter 25. Matthew 24, starting at verse 6. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And this is where we at. This is where we at right now in history. Now, I'm pretty sure, yeah, sure, all that, some of those stuff happened throughout time, but in this modern era, this post-COVID era, you see it happening more and more every day. You see it happening more and more every day. And it's going to get to a point where Well, it's already at the point where you can't deny that, yo, man, the Most High is bringing judgment upon this place. That we at the end of this thing. So let me read it again. And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and they shall be, what you see now, what you see last year, just last year, with the whole Hamas and the small hats in the Holy Land. And then the small hats going against Syria, and then the Iranians and was that Yemen sending they bombs to the small hats in Israel. You understand what I'm saying? We at the end of this thing. You're really at the end of this thing. So now ain't the time to lose, to be faint, to be slack. You know what I'm saying? To lose hope. Now really ain't the time for that, man. Now really the time to dig deep and hold on to your faith. That's really the time we're in right now. Dig deep and hold on to your faith. That's going to be the only thing that's going to get us through in these trying times. That's going to be the only thing that's going to get us through these trying times. Because I'm telling you, what's coming down the pike is not pretty. It's not pretty. You know what I'm saying? You already have people that's saying on several people that did videos on YouTube that's saying that this whole post-COVID environment, that it's not the same. It's not the same as life, prior to COVID-19, prior to COVID 2020. You know what I'm saying? Now they say it for their own reasons. But what they fail to understand is that, the Most High is bringing judgment upon this place. And the time for this place is just about running out. So now is the time that, hey, listen, now really, pardon my French, because there might be some few strong languages, you know what I'm saying, popping up that might come out during the show. You know what I'm saying? But please don't let it mistaken for my zeal, or you know what I'm saying? But please don't let it outshine my zeal for the Most High. And my passion, you know what I'm saying, for letting folks know, hey, listen, something wicked this way blows. And you really don't want to get caught up in it. You really don't want to get caught up in it. So let me get my second scripture, and we're going to get on with the show. We're going to get on with the show. Because like I'm saying, listen, this ain't the time to walk around with your head in the clouds, being all bobbleheaded, aloof, you know what I'm saying, completely oblivious, you know what I'm saying. No, not to take jabs, but that's something that women and children do. You know what I'm saying? But you as an Israelite man, and heck, even you as an Israelite woman, this ain't the time to have your head in the clouds. It's really ain't the time for that. You know what I'm saying? This really ain't the time for that. So that being said, let me get Sorry, StreamYards is bugging out a little bit. So hold on. Let me. It's not there. StreamYards is bugging out a little bit. So see my screen. Please bear with me. Got the technical difficulties. In my second scripture, the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 15. See that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. So yeah, Slakia, there's more. Verse 18, and be ye not drunk with wine, and the wine could go into, physical wine, alcohol, or, spiritual wine, like, doctrines. So verse 18, and be not drunk with wine, wherein there is excess, but be filled with the Spirit, giving thanks always for unto the God and the Father, God and the Father, in the name of our Lord Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of the Most High. So yeah, the point was in 15. Walk circumspectly. Walk circumspectly, because listen, in this new era, and that's basically my name for this time period. In this new era, now is really not the time to be, aloof. Now it's really not the time to be, an airhead, to be a ditz, to be a space case, a space cadet, or whatever have you. Really ain't the time for that. So you see that you walk circumspectly, not Ephesians 5 and 15 again. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore, be not unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. So yeah, now the time, now it's not the time to be a bobblehead. Straight like that. Now it's not the time to be a bobblehead. Now it's not the time, to be completely aloof, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. And the least thing that you want, the last thing you want is to be caught up. I'll tell you that right now. The absolute last thing that you want right now is to be caught up. So without further ado, let's start the show. Let's start on the topic. And we're gonna start the topic about, going over the same thing. We're gonna start the topic going over the same thing as we did before. Slakia, give me a minute. Yeah, sorry about that. Had a, you know, had a phone call real quick. So, but now back to the show. So again, we back to Ephesians 5. Sorry again. What's the school again? Yeah, you know, a brother got a Hebrew got a family and still doing the ministry. So you hear that? Ain't no excuse, y'all. So again, back to the show. Ephesians 5:15. For you know, so I get 5:15. See that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Redeem the time, because the days are evil. Slack. Wherefore, be not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Yeah. So understand what the will of the Lord, with the things that must come down upon, coming down upon this society. You know what I'm saying? So enough about that. Without further ado, let's get back to let's get on to the main topic. But before that, I want to give you guys a refresher of what President Trump said last week and a couple of videos that I have here. So, I'm gonna play the first video.
They're very dangerous people. They're violent people. I used to say these are more violent than our criminals. In fact, the best part about them is they make our criminals look quite nice, actually, by comparison. They are very violent people. We also have many violent criminals in our country, however, that did not necessarily come here illegally, but have been arrested 30 times, 35 times, 41, 42 times in a couple of cases, 25 times, 18 times. Many for murder and other heinous charges, such as pushing people into subways. As the train's coming along at 45 miles an hour, boom, you get pushed into the subway. They had it last week. Hitting them in the head with baseball bats while they're not looking, punching old ladies in the face, knocking them unconscious and stealing their purse. They even break into apartments and rape elderly women and beat up elderly men, beat them to hell. And I don't want these violent repeat offenders in our country any more than I want illegal aliens from other countries who misbehave. And I say, and this is subject to getting it approved, but if they've been arrested many, many times, they're repeat offenders by many numbers, I want them out of our country. I also will be seeking permission to do so. We're going to get approval, hopefully, to get them the hell out of our country along with others. Let them be brought to a foreign land and maintained by others for a very small fee, as opposed to be maintained in our jails for massive amounts of money, including the private prison companies that charge us a fortune. Now, let them be brought out of our country and let them live there for a while. Let's see how they like it. You'll see crime all over the country dry up. Essentially, that's what Venezuela and other countries are doing. They're getting rid of their criminals and putting them into the United States of America. And their crime is down by almost 80%. We're going to restore law and order in America, and we want to bring back the death penalty for these horrible people that kill people. They kill people. It's always a tough thing to say because I don't like it. Nobody likes it. But if you don't do it, we're just looking for trouble.
Now, see, now this show was from this is from last week's show where I played this video, and it goes into what President Trump says. And here, this video, he's alluding to not only deporting illegal immigrants, but also sending away career criminals that are Americans, American citizens, or foreign nationals with permanent residency or got their green cards and stuff like that, to send them away as well. This is what President Trump is talking about. And what was the clues that made me say this? Huh? Some people would say, hey, Shan, what makes you come to this conclusion? Again, I'm going to show you the 4 clues from last week's show. Clue number 1. The comment about 4142 arrests was a jab at Jordan Neely, a Black American man. You know what I'm saying? President Trump said, like, hey, listen, we got criminals here that got 13, 15, 35, 20, 41, 42. The 41, 42 was a jab at Jordan Neely. Because remember, when that whole incident happened in 2023 and Jordan Neely got deleted, what was the first thing that everyone was highlighting? He'd been arrested 42 times. He was a menace. Oh, this, that, you know what I'm saying? And that was basically what was ultimately used to get Daniel Penny off. Regardless of the fact that Daniel Penny was choking the dude out, had him in the rear naked choke for say 3 minutes or possibly longer, and people was telling him, "Yo, let him go, let him go, let him go," and dude held it in until he died. But what's all he was focused on? The fact that he was arrested 42 times. Yeah, say he came in and menacing and wasn't, act like he was about to attack somebody and blah, blah, blah. But you don't see nothing saying that he had a weapon. There had nothing that said that he attacked somebody. I'm not saying menacing is right. Menacing is off. You're basically asking for trouble with that. But you didn't hear no part of the case. He attacked somebody. He pulled out a weapon. Or any of that. All you heard, he was menacing. Dude jumped in, choked him out, and that was it. And what else was everyone saying? Oh, he had 42 arrests. He was a menace. Oh, some of his arrests was for assault on old ladies, and he pushed somebody in front of the train. Yeah. That's cool. That's clue number 1 that let me know, hey, listen, President Trump is not talking about immigrants here. Clue number 2. The comment about folks pushing people onto subway tracks with an oncoming train was a reference to the numerous incidents in New York City where the majority of the perpetrators were Black. For those of you who are not familiar, there have been numerous incidents within the past several years where people were getting shoved in front of, shoved on the train tracks with an oncoming train. And a lot of times, sad to say, the people who do it were Black. And not just Black, some of them were straight bug outs, mentally ill folks that was homeless, probably strung out on drugs, probably battling mental illnesses, and were just free to roam. And again, there was this, like I said in last week's show, I'll say it again, there was a situation back in 2021, 2022, where an Asian lady got shoved in front of an oncoming train by a homeless and I think mentally ill Black guy. And she died. And it was a huge thing in the news. Pretty much demonizing Black folks in general And I think that was one of the many things that caused that Asian hate crime bill to get passed. Trump said he wanted to do away with that. And Trump mentioned that in his speech about the situation about a lot of these homeless folks, a lot of these folks getting pushed on the train. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of these undocumented illegals, they are over here doing all kinds of wicked shit, but shoving folks on the train, shoving folks on the train track with an oncoming train, that wasn't one of them. So who is Trump talking about here? American citizens, mainly Black American citizens. Clue number 3. The comment about random old lady getting knocked, random old women getting knocked out and had their purse stolen may have been a reference to the string of hate crimes against Asian folks in 2021, 2022. The perpetrators were American. In 2021, 2022, there was a string of folks attacking Asian folks that was being recorded. A lot of them made the news. And you got this huge push for this anti-hate Asian hate crime bill. The messed up thing is the one that was put in front and center was the one where the perpetrators were Black Americans. Where the perpetrators were Black folks. And the one that got huge publicity was this one where I think this hotel in Midtown Manhattan had their own cameras, and it just and the camera shows you be able to see outside, and the camera so happened to catch this Asian lady walking one direction, and this big black buck 6'8" nigga walking the opposite direction, and he just straight cold knock her out with one punch. And took her purse. And the wild thing about that is, allegedly, dude was previously arrested for killing his own mother. So I'm hearing stuff like that, like, how the fuck is he out? Pardon my language. I'm hearing stuff like that, and like, what? Why the fuck is he out? Why isn't he locked up, never to come home again? And which I believe there's an agenda behind that, and I'll get into that later in the show. But again, my point is, a lot of the attack on Asian hate crimes, it was mainly the one where the Black perpetrators made the news. But when you look up the CIA, not the CIA, the FBI stats on the folks that was attacking Asian, the hate crimes against Asian folks, according to the FBI, the main perpetrators were Edomites, white folks. There's many white folks. What's my point in bringing that up? My point in bringing that up is I honestly believe that, number one, some of them Asian hate, some of the major crimes that went to that was used to pretty much encourage President Biden to sign that anti-Asian hate crime bill. I honestly believe that a lot of that stuff was government psyop. I believe that some of those were agent provocateurs that was paid by certain government officials, certain alphabet governments to go and do what they do. Go out there and do that to pretty much, to stoke the flames so that the bill could be signed. Because again, hear me out. After the bill got signed, a lot of the crimes against Asian folks pretty much disappeared. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have certain instances here and there, but all that rampant stuff that you every other day, oh man, it's a crime against an Asian lady, it's a crime against an Asian man, that pretty much disappeared. Which leads me to believe that some of those were agent provocateurs. But what's my point in this? What is black folks or white folks? The comment about random old women getting knocked down and had their purses stolen was done by both Jake and even some Edomites. Trump said he ready to do away with them folks, saying that he got something for you. Fourth clue. The comment about folks beating up people with baseball bats may have been in reference to the incident in New York City where a group of American teenagers robbed and beat people on the subway. And I did in the show last week. The perpetrators was, Hispanic descent, but they looked like American citizens. American citizens of, Hispanic descent, or, as we say in the Israelite community, the 10 tribes. Might be Simeon. They look more so Simeon, so-called Dominican or Puerto Rican. Those are the four main clues. And which, how can I say this? Before I bring out the major point from my last show, let's go into the second video from last week. It's only 1 minute and 2 seconds of Trump's second speech, that was happening exactly a week ago. Let's hear it.
I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. Today
Now see, you hear that? Trump was basically saying, hey, listen, check this out. We're about to reopen up Guantanamo Bay, and they could host 30,000 prisoners, and that some of the illegals that are out here committing crimes, you may not even, you know what I'm saying? We're not even going to play ourselves and call ourselves trying to send them back to their home country and mess around. They come right back over here. So we're pretty much going to send them to what? We're pretty much going to send them to Guantanamo Bay and keep them there. What kind of shit is that? And the thing is, I find it so damn problematic because I already know in the spirit, combined with the first video that I showed you, where Trump says to get rid of some of the American career criminals. What does that mean? It means that some of our folks might get the boot out of here, sent off to a foreign prison, never to be heard of again. And that's what we're going to see on the show. So we're going to get you the first article here. Please bear with me. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like. Those you watching the replay, if you like it, if you enjoy the show, please like and share. Sign off in the comment section. What's your feelings about this whole ordeal? And listen, just let a Hebrew know. You know? So just like and share. Like, share, subscribe. Slakia, let me. Slakia. Technical difficulties. And here we go. Article number 1. And I really want you guys to see. I really want you guys to see this. Rubio says El Salvador offers to accept deportees from U.S. of any nationality, including Americans. Let me read that again. Rubio says El Salvador offers to accept deportees from the United States of any nationality, including Americans. That's Marco Rubio punk ass over here. And that the prime minister or the president of El Salvador do look like he a damn drug lord. And it's from yesterday, 8:08 a.m., February 4th. San Salvador, El Salvador. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio left El Salvador on Tuesday with an agreement that from the country's president to accept deportees from the U.S. of any nationality, including violent American criminals now imprisoned in the United States. President Nayib Bukele has agreed to the most unprecedented, extraordinary migratory agreement anywhere in the world. Rubio said after meeting with Bukele at his lakeside country house outside San Salvador house late Monday. We can send them and we will put them in his jails, Rubio said, of migrants of all nationalities detained in the United States. So you hear that shit? Do you hear that shit? So you could be a migrant, you know what I'm saying? You could be a migrant from Jamaica or from Haiti or something, and they'll send you to fucking El Salvador. You could be from Colombia. You could be from Mexico. It could be a Gentile migrant from China. And they send them straight to El Salvador. How sinister is that? And he offered to do the same for dangerous criminals currently in custody and serving their sentences. Oh, jeez. Sorry, these damn apps is annoying me. Sorry. Salakia. Technical difficulties under the tech difficulties. Salakia, let me continue. And he's offered to do the same for dangerous criminals currently in custody and serving their sentences in the United States, even though they're U.S. citizens or legal residents, meaning if you're from Jamaica, if you're from Guyana, if you're from Trinidad, you're from Mexico, for the 10 tribes, you might be Simeon for the Dominican Republic and you have your papers. You have, you know what I'm saying? You have your green card. You have permanent residency. And you do something stupid and get caught up in the American criminal justice system, you could be found worthy to get sent all the way to El Salvador. What kind of shit is that, man? Well, this is the plan that they have for our people. This is the plan that they have for our people. And I'm saying right now, a lot of our people gonna get caught up. A lot of our people gonna get caught up. So, Pistol Pete, you know what I'm saying? Pistol Pete, Pookie, Ray, Duggo, they gonna get caught up. I'm saying that right now. They are going to get caught up. Our people out here that want to do wickedness, that want to act like straight deviants and demons, they gonna get caught up. And the messed up part is, a lot of them gonna get caught up because, they fell victim to a lot of the agendas that's being pushed on them, mainly from the record industry. Again, I say before and I say it again. Music puts spirits on you. And what's the biggest music today in the black community? Drill music, trap music. Which ain't nothing but is complete demonic activity. So if someone listen to drill music and when they talking about shooting and killing and ops and doing this and violating people and stuff like that, that's what putting these demons on our youth, putting spirits on our youth. To live a criminal life, so that they could get caught up and what happened? They get sent away. They get shipped off to some foreign prisons. Off you go. Now let's read this. Rubio was visiting El Salvador to press a friendly government to do more to meet President Donald Trump's demand for a major crackdown on immigration. Bukele confirmed to offer a post on X saying El Salvador has offered United States of America the opportunity to outsource part of his prison system. Do you hear this? Do you hear this? To outsource part of his prison system. Same with how they outsource jobs. They want to outsource prisons now. So what might happen? What are they saying? They're saying there might be some folks that might get caught up. You know what I'm saying? You might get attacked by a racist Edomite or racist Gentile that trying to do harm on you. And you might use self-defense. You might lose legal force. And even with the fact that it was self-defense, that they still want to lock you up. And you might be a first-time offender, right? You might be a first-time offender. You might not even be a career criminal. Guess what? You still might be viable to get sent away to these foreign prisons. This goes way deep, man. Let's continue. He said his country would accept only convicted criminals. Yeah, only convicted criminals. And you know how many of our people got charged for murders and other crimes they didn't commit? And it wasn't until 20, 30 years later that they found out that, yeah, they got the wrong person. How many folks that got exonerated now? There's a few that got exonerated last year for crimes they didn't commit. I remember this one gentleman, it was from Brooklyn, New York. I will never forget. This young man that got arrested, tried, and convicted for a crime he didn't commit. And the messed up part about it was that he happened to have the same name of an actual career criminal that was wanted for the shooting. And the fact that the detectives at the time knew this. The only difference is they had different middle names, but the first name and the last name was exactly the same. And the DAs noticed. No, not DA. The detectives noticed and still pushed him through, and the young man got convicted. And it wasn't. And I think he did maybe 8 to 10 years or so. No, he did a long time, a long stretch. Long story short, he missed out a lot of years of his life. And he just came home at 2024, 2023. These type of crimes happen. These type of stuff happen all the time. So he said he was set only convicted criminals. So what happened if it's a situation where one of us get convicted for a crime that we didn't commit? Guess what? We'll be found worthy. We'd be possible, be put in a situation where we could get shipped off to a foreign prison, working at a penal colony, colony. Slovakia. So let's continue. He said his country would accept only convicted criminals and would charge a fee that will be relatively low for the U.S., but significant for us, making our entire prison system sustainable. El Salvador has lived under a state of emergency since March 2022, where the country's powerful street gangs went on a killing rampage. Bukele responded by suspending fundamental rights like access to lawyers and authorities to have arrested more than 83,000 people with little to no due process. So habeas corpus don't even exist over there. Right to a fair trial? None of that. You just get grabbed up. So if you associate with the wrong folks, even if you didn't do anything, even if you didn't kill anybody because you're associated with them, they was grabbing you up and getting tossed into prison. In 2023, Bukele opened a massive new prison system with capacity for 40,000 gang members and boasted 40,000. See, 40,000, just so 10,000 more than Guantanamo Bay. And boasted about serving only one meal per day. You hear that? Prisoners there do not receive visits. Damn. So if you get sent over there, ain't no my mama gonna come visit me. My kids might come visit me. My parent, my dad, my brother, my sister, my wife. You know what I'm saying? My kids. None of that. You get shipped off there, it's the end. That is completely insane. And there will be no programs preparing them for resortation into society after their sentences, and no workshops or educational programs. So basically, you're just there to slave. It's a penal colony, a penal colony prison. You're just there to work. You're just there to work and slave. No programs like they do in the States, for when you come home, how you be able to assimilate back into society, you know what I'm saying, with little to no, kerfuffles. None of that. or educational programs. A lot of times in the prisons in the States, a lot of folks, black men and black women, and the Spanish tribes have gotten their GEDs. Some even gotten college degrees. You know what I'm saying? Some of them even gotten college degrees while being incarcerated. I think 50 Cent did a show. It was a decent show too. I don't know why it got canceled. This gentleman that I think he earned. I think he became a lawyer while being incarcerated. Got his degree in law while being locked up. And these foreign prisons, especially in El Salvador, they're gonna be none of that. You're just there to work, enslave, serve your time, and maybe the possible chance that you just might come home. How sinister is that? El Salvador, once one of the most dangerous countries in the world, closed last year with a record low 114 homicides, a newfound security that has propelled Bukele's soaring popularity in the country for about 6 million residents. Rubio arrived in San Salvador shortly after watching a U.S.-funded deportation flight with 43 migrants leaving from Panama to Colombia. That came a day after Rubio delivered a warning to Panama that unless the government moved immediately to eliminate China's presence at the Panama Canal, the U.S. would act to do so. Migration, though, was the main issue of the day, and with the next steps of Rubio's five-nation Central American tour of Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Dominican Republic after Panama and El Salvador. His tour is taking place at the time of the turmoil in Washington over the status of the government's main foreign development agency. Trump administration has prioritized stopping people from making a journey to the United States. Now work with regional countries to boost immigration enforcement on their borders, as well as to accept deportees from the United States. The agreement Rubio described in El Salvador to accept foreign nationals arrested in the United States for violating U.S. immigration laws is known as a Safe Third Country Agreement. Officials have suggested that this might be an option for Venezuelan gang members convicted of crimes in the United States should Venezuela refuse to accept them. But Rubio said Bukele's offer was for detainees of any nationality. Rubio said Bukele then went further and said his country was willing to accept and jail U.S. citizens or legal residents convicted of or imprisoned for violent crimes. Again, listen, for you folks out there that, for all these super thug, Pookie and Ray Ray, Thuggo, Nook, Pistol Pete, Rooftop Chris, Shotgun Mike, Man and them. Listen, Trump got something for you, man. Trump got something for you. But I also see some of our people who might have to use lethal force to defend themselves in a situation where their life was legitimately in danger. Some of them might get caught up too. Or in a situation that you might be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and now all of a sudden you're getting framed for a murder you did not commit. And as we see countlessly on the news, black men is getting many black men, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, are getting exonerated for crimes they did not commit. That they done served 20, 30 years for. And now it's oops. Now, with the evidence now, we found out, yeah, he didn't do it. God forbid some of us get caught up in this shit. It's game over. And another thing, you know what I'm saying? Like what some of us, again, like I said in last week's show, some of us might have family members that might be mentally ill. Sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, children, spouses that might be suffering from schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, schizoaffective disorder. Or might be strung out on drugs, that might be out on the streets. And every time they have an episode, they go off and attack somebody. And you at home worrying, hey, is my brother okay? Is my sister okay? Is my you know what I'm saying? Is my loved one okay? Are they still alive? Mess around and they might get grabbed up in this too and get shipped off to a foreign country. Instead of being in a mental institutional over here, a mental institution in the States, getting the help that they need, getting medicine, getting treatment, getting therapy. Instead, your loved one that battling schizophrenia is in some foreign prison, sharing fucking jail cells with brutal killers. This is what the elites got for our people. You an Israelite man or Israelite woman going out for a murder you did not commit, and you getting shipped off to a foreign prison, and you sharing jail cell with brutal gang members that done killed entire families. This is what the elites have in store for you. Human rights activists had warned that El Salvador lacks a consistent policy for the treatment of asylum seekers and refugees, and that such an agreement might not be limited to violent criminals, which I'm glad they said that, because that'd be a perfect time to institute, to show one of my main point of last week's show and for this week's show. Major point number one, American citizens with lengthy rap sheets, regardless of race, may be targeted for expulsion for the United States along with illegal immigrants. So that's number one. That was number one, as you read in this article, but it's a perfect time to institute point number two. Being sent away to foreign prisons may not only be exclusive to career criminals or illegal immigrants. And that's what I honestly believe. The illegal immigrants and the career criminals, that's just to get folks on board. Eventually, they're going to use this to house political dissenters, political opponents. If Trump goes into full dictator mode and folks start protesting, you know what I'm saying? Folks start having massive protesting, blocking off roads and stuff like that. He could sign an executive order saying, hey, anyone being arrested, you could get shipped off to these foreign prisons. So now they could threaten you with being shipped off to a penal colony, to a foreign prison in Guatemala, to El Salvador, to Guantanamo Bay, in order to shut you up and play ball. See what I'm saying? This can go way left. This can't and will go way left. Trust and believe that. Manuel Flores, The Secretary General of the leftist opposition party, Farabundo Marti, National Liberation Front, criticized the Safe Third Country plan, saying it was signaling that the region is Washington's backyard to dump the garbage. After meeting with Bukele, Rubio signed a memorandum of understanding with his Salvadorian counterpart to advance U.S. El Salvador civil nuclear cooperation. And that's the whole reason why they're doing this shit. One hand washes the other. So the prime minister was at Bukele. He's saying, "Hey, we'll take your deportees, we'll take your violent American criminals, but do this for us." You know what I'm saying? Civil nuclear cooperation. Build a nuclear plant here, so we could get nuclear power. To fuel the cities. So these other countries are getting in bed with America for at our expense. Let me read on. The document could lead to a more formal deal on cooperation in nuclear power and medicine that the U.S. have with numerous countries. Let me see how much more of this last paragraph. While Rubio was out of the U.S., staffers of the U.S. Agency of International Development were instructed Monday to stay out of the agency's Washington headquarters after Musk announced Trump had agreed with him to shut the agency. Thousands of USAID employees already had been laid off and programs shut down. Rubio told reporters in San Salvador that he was now the acting administrator of USAID, but had delegated that authority, so he would not be running this day-to-day operation. The change means that USAID is no longer an independent government agency, and that as it has been for decades, although its new status will likely be challenged in court and will be one out of the State Department of officials. In his remarks, Rubio stressed that some and perhaps many USAID programs will continue the new configuration, but that switch was necessary because the agency had become unaccountable to executive branches. Hold on. All right. So there you have it. So yeah, that was a lengthy read. That was a very lengthy read, but that was very, whew, yeah, that was needed. That was needed. You know what I'm saying? That was very much needed. That lets you know what could be coming down the pike. So again, you blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, now's the time to repent and get yourself right with the Most High. Because what's coming down the pike was going to get a lot of our folks caught up. And the last thing you want is to be in some foreign prison with a stupid look on your face. You know what I'm saying? Pray for the Most High's mercy. Pray for the Most High's divine protection over you so that you will not be caught up in here. You understand? This is why I go so hard. This is why I go so hard about this. You know what I'm saying? So let me get my next scripture before I load up the my next point. The book of Isaiah, the 33rd chapter. Cause listen, that's the only thing that's gonna get us through this trying time, man. That's the only thing won't get us through this time. Isaiah 33 and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. You know what I'm saying? This is where we at. This is where we at. The wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. That's what's going to keep us stable in these trying times and the days ahead. Well, a lot of folks won't get caught up. Because the last thing you want is to get caught up. The last thing you want to get caught up in this shit. Because I'm telling you, you get caught up in this, it's a possible, very possible chance, a very real reality that you may not come home. You may not come home. And again, let me go back to major point 2. Being sent away to foreign prisons may not only be exclusive to career criminals or illegal immigrants. And again, I say, I truly honestly believe in my heart of hearts that, listen, I truly honestly believe in my heart of hearts that, how can I say this? A lot of folks that may not be career criminals is going to get caught up in this too. I honestly believe that they're going to use this to silence, political opponents, folks protesting wickedness, people, quote unquote, hate groups. This is where the Hebrew Israelites come in, because they see us as a hate group, and we hadn't targeted or deleted anybody. All we do is preach the fall of Babylon, and that God Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth, is going to come back and judge this world with his son Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and we call our people to repent and get ourselves right, and in preparation for his coming, for the coming of the Hamashiach. That's it. So how we get called a hate group, God knows. Remember the whole thing back in 2010, 2011, was it Project Megiddo? That any so-called Black Power groups was automatically being dubbed hate groups. What if President Trump decided to go that route? All hate groups, you just getting grabbed up, period. Regardless of whether or not y'all did anything. You know what I'm saying? Speaking out about the small hats. You know what I'm saying? The fake, them peoples, the small hats, the aha. You know, remember that scene from Coming to America, that old white guy? Aha, taste the soup. I said, okay, I'll taste the soup. Where's the spoon? Aha. You know what I'm saying? Them peoples. During this whole election campaign, both of them, a lot of, them people, their groups, has been speaking with both sides in case they win, to get what passed, to get laws on, even speaking up on them, could be dubbed anti-Semitism, and that you could possibly get arrested for it. They're not playing with our people. So we go to major point number 3. Guantanamo Bay, which I brought on the last show, may be used as a weapon against nonviolent citizens for intimidation tactics. Like I just said, one thing they could also do, they could also decide, hey, man, we going to pass this new law this new enforcement. Oh, you ain't with it? We're gonna pass this new mandate. Oh, you ain't with it? Okay. Executive law. Whoever refuse or whoever protests, you could get arrested and get shipped off to a foreign prison. Kind of like the whole thing with the jab. Folks is losing jobs behind that. What if, God forbid, it's another situation, another pandemic breakout? And this time, you know what I'm saying, the rules are strict. Or you don't take this, guess what? Off you go to a foreign prison. Scary stuff, man. Now, let me show you this video real quick.
The Trump administration and El Salvador's president Nayib Bukele said that they have allowed the U.S. to send detained migrants and imprison criminals to the Central American nation.
He has offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals in custody in our country, including those of U.S. citizenship and legal residence.
President Donald Trump said that he would approve sending U.S. citizens convicted of worse crimes to the prisons in other countries if that's legal.
Due to American soft power, is there a question about the U.S. using leverage?
Obviously, we'll have to study it on our end. There are obviously legalities involved. We have a constitution. We have all sorts of things, but it's a very generous offer. No one's ever made an offer like that. And to outsource at a fraction of the cost, at least some of the most dangerous and violent criminals that we have in the United States.
Bukele has made El Salvador a trademark of his authoritarian fight against crime.
Look how they got these prisoners. They can't even run standing upright. They got to run like hunched over.
In heavily publicized videos, inmates in boxer shorts are forced to go into the yards and sit nearly on top of each other. Bukele's crown jewel of incarceration is a mega prison called Terrorism Confinement Center. It opened in 2023. More than 84,000 people have been arrested since 2022 amid a crackdown against gangs in El Salvador. At least 12,000 of them were sent to this mega prison.
Now, see, look at that. Head all on top of each other. So again, God forbid if one of us repentant Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, we get caught up because we have to put somebody to death that was trying to take our lives. And the criminal justice system decides to convict us anyway. Or God forbid if one of us get caught up where one of us get grabbed up in the case of mistaken identity and get framed for a crime that we didn't commit. Or what if one of us, you know what I'm saying, protest whatever wicked mandate that might come down President Trump's new term. Or what if we decide to speak up about whatever wickedness, you know, Amalek is doing? Amalek, the so-called small hat. If they dub you a criminal, if they dub you a terrorist or whatever, they could grab you up and send you right here and have one of these dudes that might have been brutal killers head all on top of your back. Pause. This is what's waiting for our people. Let's continue.
Outside El Salvador's capital. The center can hold 40,000 inmates in cells for up to 70 prisoners. In there, prisoners do not receive visits, and they are never allowed outside.
See? You are not allowed visits. And you hear that? You could never go outside At least in an American prison, you could at least go out in the yard and get some air. Huh? You could at least go out in the yard and, you know what I'm saying? Exercise, lift some weights. Sheesh. Tell you, man, there's a lot of stuff that wastes our people. There's a lot of stuff that wastes our people. All right, right now I gotta take a brief intermission. You know what I'm saying? I gotta step away real quick. So I hope you guys, hope you guys stay tuned. So I'm gonna just put on some Hebrew music to keep you guys entertained while I step away and handle business.
Shalom, which means peace. A selection of songs you're about to hear are sung in the ancient tongue of Hebrew, Lashawan Kodash, which means the holy tongue. For our forefathers told us in their writings that the things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. Kwam lama al yasha Allah, which means to rise, O Israel, and prepare to hear the words of the Most High sung in the ancient tongue of Hebrew. For this is the tongue of the children of Israel. And when you search throughout the scriptures, all the original texts were written in the language of Hebrew and describe our forefathers and the children of Israel. As it says in the Songs of Solomon, Ani Shakur, I am black. As it also says in the book of Revelations, as it describes our Lord and Savior, who you call Jesus Christ, but whose Hebrew name is Yahawashah, because he is deliverer, to help us in these last days to return back to who we are, the children of Israel. So as you prepare your spirit to partake of the holy tongue of our forefathers, open your heart, your mind, and your soul, and receive these words in the ancient tongue of our forefathers, the tongue Lashawan Kodash, the holy tongue in the language of Hebrew. Shema, which means to listen. Shalom.
Shabbat Shemayim Kodash Hayashim Kaya Hawa Malakot Nawa Taba'a Ratisai Nawa Haya Asha Baratiza Kowod Haya Bashemayim Betham Nawa Betham Kal Yawon Wasalak Nawa Kawawaf Nawa Kasalak nawa, kawawakin nawa, wala atabayin nawa, banasaya wamabog, hawashayin nawa, mayan, raikayan nawa, amalakwa, waha Allah, wahafaya, wahawulamyan, Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kwadashaya Shankaya Hawa Malakwaf Nawa Taba'a Ratisai Nawa Haya Asha Baratiza Kowod Haya Bashimayim Bathamanawa Batham Kawawam Wasalak Nawa Kawawaf Nawa Kasalak nawa, kawawapya nawa, wala atapayo nawa, panasaya wamabog, hawasaya nawa, mayan, rai kayala nawa, amalakwa, wahala, wahafaya, wahagulanyam,
Hayahawa, Hafapalau, the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kwadashaya Shankaya Hawa Malakwaf Nawa Taba'a Ratisai Nawa Haya Asha Baratiza Kowod Haya Bashimayim Bathamanawa Batham Kawawam Wasalak Nawa Kawawaf Nawa Kasalak Nawa Kawawapya Nawa Wala Atapayo Nawa Panasaya Wamabog Hawasaya Nawa Mayan Rai Kayala Nawa Amalakwa Wahala Wahafaya Wahagulanyam He's been so good. He's been so good. Yahweh Shai. His prophecy is coming. Oh, each and every day. So don't be scared. Just be prepared. Let me sing the song. Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim Kwadashaya Shankaya Baratiza Kowod Haya Bashimayim Bathamanawa Wasalak Kawawaf Kasalak Kawawaf I'm so glad He chose His
Did you know that the most dangerous prayer you can ever pray is only 3 words? If you skip this healing prayer, God will skip you too. The universe says that whoever is watching this video
Yes, Lakia, sorry about that. Had to step away real quick, and now I'm back. So please give me a minute, Baba Shah. Sorry about that. Yeah, now I'm back. Had to step away real quick, had to handle some business. So now I'm back, and we're gonna watch another video about these mega prisons in El Salvador. This to show how real dark and real grimy it could be over there, and why you really do not want to get caught up in there. All right. So we're gonna show you right now. Now this is the second video. And again, this is what this dude wants to do with American citizens. Let's listen.
On Secretary of State Marco Rubio's whirlwind tour of Latin America, a potentially unprecedented offer from the president of El Salvador.
He has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails.
President Nayib Bukele revealing more in a post on X, offering the U.S., quote, the opportunity to outsource part of its prison system in exchange for a fee. And it's not just for people who are in the U.S. illegally.
He has offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals.
Hold on, let's hear that again. From the top.
A potentially unprecedented offer from the president of El Salvador.
He has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails.
President Nayib Bukele revealing more in a post on X, offering the U.S., quote, the opportunity to outsource part of its prison system in exchange for a fee.
Exchange for a fee. Again, like I said in my last show, that's going to be the end thing now. Sorry, the end thing now. Investments in foreign prisons. But what they said that the average price to house an inmate in the prison system in the United States is what, $47,000? You know what I'm saying? In foreign countries, it's going to be much cheaper than that. So the American government, they will start going that route. You don't want to be caught up in this.
And it's not just for people who are in the U.S. illegally.
He has offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals in custody in our country, including those of U.S. citizenship and legal residence. No.
See what I'm saying? Willing to host American criminals and those of legal residence. So you from Haiti and you have a legal a permanent residency or a green card, and you get caught up, you could get sent there. May not speak a lick of Spanish a day in your life, but get sent to a foreign prison. You hear what's coming down the pike? I hope you guys are prepared.
No country's ever made an offer of friendship such as this.
But that offer, especially to take U.S. citizens, raising major concerns.
It's a non-starter to talk about deporting U.S. citizens. It's point blank unlawful.
Unless someone has...
Which it is. It's straight up illegal. It is straight up illegal. You're talking basically a penal colony, bro.
committed a crime abroad, extensive constitutional and legal protections exist to prevent that in most cases. And for citizens of other countries apprehended here, regulations are still in place.
They have to follow the very strict requirements Congress has laid out, which means an agreement between the U.S. and El Salvador, but also an absolute guarantee that those individuals will be safe in El Salvador from danger, persecution, and torture.
Rubio.
And that's what I'm saying. They really have no way of guaranteeing none of that. They really have no way of guaranteeing any of that. So, God forbid you get sent there, it's basically, kiss your ass goodbye. They really have no way where they could guarantee your safety, your protection, your well-being. What if you get placed in one of those foreign prisoners with someone that don't like Jake, someone that don't like Judah, that don't like Benjamin, that don't like Levi? For the 10 tribes, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you eat from, every other the Latin tribes hate your guts. Mexicans, Colombians, you know what I'm saying? Peruvians, Salvadorians, they all hate Puerto Ricans. They all hate Dominicans. You get shipped over there, you might have someone that want to take you out because you're Puerto Rican. You're so-called Puerto Rican. You so-called Dominican. There's no way they could guarantee your safety in one of those prisons. They bugging.
Today acknowledging it's unclear if such an action would be legal.
Obviously, we'll have to study it on our end. There are obviously legalities involved. We have a constitution. We have all sorts of things, but it's a very generous offer.
That offer would put convicted criminals in President Bukele's notorious mega prison.
And again, look at that. They can't even run upright. They got to run, like I said, they got a crick in their back. They run and said they got a crook in their spine. And said they got polio or something. Say, man, pray to the Most High. You don't ever get caught up in the elite's plan, with these foreign prisons. Because I assure you, they're not going to stop at violent criminals. I promise you that. Let's continue.
Known as the Terrorism Confinement Center. Built by Bukele to house alleged members of gangs that had once helped make El Salvador one of the most dangerous countries in the world. It has become a symbol of his crackdown on crime.
Look at that shit. Look
that
how many people
crackdown has swept up 80,000 people and enjoyed public support.
Los niños hoy van a las escuelas sin sus padres, caminan seguros, con la seguridad que van a regresar a sus casas y no.
Now, this lady said that now the citizens can rest easily because they don't have to worry about their kids getting kidnapped by these gangs, which, again, in prisons like that, does have its use. They are there for people, who do get, do dumb shit and do wickedness. But my thing is, you do not want to get caught up in that. You know what I'm saying? It has its cons because, again, especially when it talks about American prisoners, again, it's not going to stop at violent felons. It's not going to stop there. You know what I'm saying? And again, and it's not going to stop for the street thug, Pookie, Ray, Duggo, Nook, Shotgun Mike, Rooftop Chris, Pistol Pete. It's not going to talk. It's not going to stop at them. Your cousin, your aunt, your mom that has schizophrenia, that's out here just wilding out, homeless on the streets, just bugged out of her mind. I might have 30 arrests. And you know what I'm saying? She might have an episode. She have an episode or a psychotic break where she might try to harm somebody or actually does harm somebody. And guess what? You're shipping your mentally ill loved ones to one of these prisons. You do not want that. And again, a point that I brought out on my last show, mental illness amongst our people and the Israelite community, whether Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Ephraim, has skyrocketed. You don't want your loved ones, you know what I'm saying, who's out there. And listen, it's hard to get, mentally ill. How can I say this? It's hard to get help for your mentally ill loved ones. First of all, they're gonna have to want to get it themselves. But in severe cases, you might have to have them hospitalized and put them in a conservatory. And I'm pretty sure that stuff costs money. And the everyday Judite, Benjamite, Ephraimite, Simeonite, Asherite, Issacharite, Levite don't have the money to long-term host mentally ill people in a conservatory. I'm just saying. Let's continue.
Van a ser secuestrados por los pandilleros.
That mega prison, the size of 7 football stadiums, with the capacity to hold 40,000 prisoners.
Damn.
Movements are tightly controlled. No mattresses are offered. Prisoners spend all but 30 minutes per day in packed.
Look at that. All them niggas in one cell. All them dudes in one cell. That's what's waiting for our people.
Cells.
And you hear that? No mattresses. So you ain't get a cot. You know what I'm saying? What's the saying in the States? 3 hots in a cot. You know what I'm saying? We read it in an article maybe like half an hour into the stream that half an hour ago that you only get one meal. One meal a day. So you get one hot and no cots. You don't even get a bed. You sleep on the floor with a bunch of other people sleeping next to you. This is what's waiting for our people. Let's continue.
Mattresses are offered. Prisoners spend all but 30 minutes per day in packed cells. The State Department under President Biden called prison conditions in the...
Whoa. You hear this? All but 30 minutes a day. So 30 minutes is all you get outside your cell. 30 minutes, that's all you get. And maybe like situations like a lockdown or you know what I'm saying, with riots where they have to account for everybody who's there. That's all you get. Sheesh.
The country harsh and life-threatening. But President Trump tonight doubling down on his willingness to consider the offer.
It's no different than a prison system, except it would be a lot less expensive and it would be a great deterrent. Send them to other countries.
You hear that? You hear that? He's thinking from the financial aspect of it. Send their ass to other countries. He said it'll be much cheaper financially and be a great deterrent. Send their ass to these foreign countries. Let's play that again in case you missed it. And Trump doubled it down, saying that he's with it. So guess what? It's only going to be a matter of time before this becomes law.
Except it would be a lot less expensive and it would be a great deterrent. Send them to other countries. No, we'll have to find that out legally. I'm just saying, if we had the legal right to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Ellison, we know there are at least 2 military flights that have...
Do you hear that? If they got the power to do it, it'll automatically be law already. Watch and pray, y'all. It's going to get dark from here.
Transported migrants from the mainland U.S. to the naval base on Guantanamo Bay. We know that one of those military flights left Fort Bliss in Texas with 10 migrants aboard. The White House is characterizing the migrants in question as, in their words, quote, the worst of the worst, in some ways, in some instances characterizing them as gang members. However, we don't know for sure who these people are or what crimes exactly they have been accused or convicted of committing. And indeed, the reason this move is raising alarm among some advocates and others is because Guantanamo is known for its lack of transparency, lack of due process, lack of things such as access to counsel. However, the Trump administration has said that it intends to follow due process with the migrants it is detaining on Guantanamo Bay. Allison?
David Noriega, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Whew. See what I'm saying? Whoa, scary hour. Scary hour. In those prisons, there's no habeas corpus. There's no right for a fair trial. There's no talking to a counselor. Now, Trump claims that, yeah, they're going to make sure that the prisoners get all that. But again, how can you be so sure? How can they be so sure that will happen? How can you be so sure that will happen? There's really no guarantees. There's really no guarantees about any of this stuff. There really isn't any. So basically what they're saying, what? If you get caught out there, that is your ass, Mr. Postman. Scary hour. Scary hour. Scary hour. So you blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, listen, man. Just watch and pray. Because this thing could go really, really. This stuff could go way left, man. This stuff could go way left. This stuff could go way left. And that's the absolute last thing you want. And you wanna know what? Matter of fact, let me do this right here. Just to show you the type of people that they had co-signing this shit. Watch this. Hold up. Let me check. Let me see. Give me a minute. Sorry. All right, damn. All right. Sorry, technical difficulties. Slovakia. Yeah, I'm trying to share a tab from, but just basically showing that the type of people that agrees with this stuff. Now, you want to know who agrees with this stuff? Mr. Elon Musk himself. Mr. Neuralink himself agrees on foreign prisons. So now, what you think all this stuff with this foreign prison, how Elon Musk ties into it? Well, this is what we're going to get into right now. Before that, we're going to do a little housekeeping. Again, If you guys enjoying the show, please like, share, and subscribe. For those who watching the playback, if you're enjoying the show, do the same thing. Like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, share it to a friend. And also, if possible, just take the scriptures that's being read on the show and the wisdom and apply it to your life. You know what I'm saying? And share it with someone that you believe that will be edified. And also, if you enjoying the show and you would like to make a love offering, the right there in the ticker below, please donate to the Cash App. I am Sham12. Please donate to the Cash App again, $ I am Sham12. Thank you guys for your support. Now back to the show. Now we all heard this news about Elon Musk having access to the Treasury payment system, the United States Treasury. And me, along with everybody else, listen, even from when Trump won and announced that Elon Musk was going to be part of his cabinet, I was like, whoa, this is bad news. This is very bad news. Because the last thing you want is a billionaire. And especially someone whose company, one of their major projects is the Neuralink. The last thing you want is a motherfucker like that to be part of any form of government agency. But he did. Trump made him part of his cabinet with this whole Doge Department of Government, was that enforcement? And look what he got access to now, the U.S. Treasury. So CBS News, Elon Musk access to Treasury's payment system is raising alarms. Here's what to know. It's from today. It's updated today. With Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, I thought it was enforcement, efficiency, Doge, gaining control of the Treasury's department payment system, consumer advocates and Democratic lawmakers are raising alarms about the group's access to federal government's financial spigot, as well as sensitive data as the social security numbers of most taxpayers. That's what I'm saying. This motherfucker has access to your social security number. This is horrible news. And I'm going to get into the reason why. Doge, a Trump administration task force assigned to find ways to reduce federal spending, now has access to a Treasury unit called the Bureau of Fiscal Service, which disperses trillions in payments each year, including Social Security checks and federal salaries, according to the Associated Press. Musk's access to the payment system is raising concerns as it comes just days after the White House ordered a broad freeze on federal grants and loans, causing confusion within federal assistance programs at nonprofits and among Americans receiving government aid. That same day, state medical programs said they were locked out of the Department of Health and Human Services system used to track and disperse money. What are the concerns? While the White House later rescinded the memo and the judge halted the freeze, Doge's control over the Treasury payment system raises questions about the Trump administration's ability to halt the flow of federal funding for programs including Medicare and Social Security. It's also causing concerns about Doge's access to personal and financial information of most taxpayers. So they could check in and see how much you get paid, how much taxes they're taking out, what's the social security number, so they can keep track of you. Where you work at. Keep in mind, this is the dude that's trying he created, but is running experiments to perfect the neural link. This is what his agency is over. This is what he has control over. You don't see what this entails? But if you don't, I'll get into it shortly. The community of Americans that has this system does not touch. So I think the concern that the access to this system, including personal identifiable information, has been ceded to the president's billionaire friends for reasons that are passing understanding. Donald K. Sherman, executive director and chief counsel of the watchdog group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, told CBS Money Watch. There are quite real risks that those could potentially undermine the system and threaten millions of Americans for getting payments that they are due, he added. Musk's access to the Treasury payment system has sparked concerns from Democratic lawmakers, including Senators Elizabeth Warren and Ron Wyden, while a lawsuit was filed on Monday alleging unlawful, ongoing, systematic, and continuous disclosure of personal and all financial information to Musk and Doge. The lawsuit filed by two unions and the Alliance of Retired Americans named U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and the Treasury as defendants. Controlling the system could allow Trump administration to unilaterally and illegally cut off payments for millions of Americans, putting at risk the financial security of family and businesses based on political favoritism, listen to this, on the whims of Mr. Musk and those on his team who has worked their way inside, said Elizabeth Warren, a Democratic from Massachusetts, in a February 2nd letter to Bessent. That's what I'm saying. And she makes a great point. Political favoritism. Cut off payments for millions of Americans, putting at risk the financial security of families and business based on political favoritism. What exactly did I say again? How this new administration can now undermine political opponents, political dissenters. Didn't I just say that? Now this is another way that they could politically undermine you. They can make a mandate. You decide you ain't with it. You want to speak out. You want to form a protest, and you want to, you know what I'm saying, be part of a grassroots movement. You know what I'm saying, to stand up against government tyranny. Guess what? Elon Musk and them have access to your financial information, your social security number, and can cut you off, stopping you from getting paid from your job. If you're at home living on a fixed income, maybe a pension, maybe social security, they could cut that off. You're a retiree, and you know you're a retiree living on a fixed income, but you know they find out that you donating to like one of their political opponents, they could cut you off. So now you ain't getting your check every month anymore. This is sinister as hell, bro. But it's one more things of what's coming down the pike, and I'm warning people with this show going on 2 hours now of what's coming down the pike, so that you guys will be prepared and will know what to do when that day comes. because it's coming. Let's continue. She added, it could also give them access to millions of Americans' personal and financial information that is protected by law. The Treasury Department did immediately respond to a request for comment. However, CBS News obtained a letter sent from Jonathan Bloom, a legislative affairs official with the Treasury Department, to members of Congress Tuesday, which claimed that those will only have read-only access to the department data. Listen, even with that, that's a bad idea. Because listen, all they need to know what certain people that they don't like, what their social is. So let's say he got beef with Elizabeth Warren or Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries or something like that. All you need to know, what's their social security number? Oh, is that? Okay. Write that down. Noted. So read only mean that they could just read your financial information. You know, they can't make no changes. They can't cut you off, nothing. It's just all you could do is look and read. But it doesn't say nothing about copy down. It doesn't say take a screenshot. Here's a screenshot of Hakeem Jeffries' social security number. Here's a screenshot of and his address. Here's of Elizabeth Warren. Here's of Chuck Schumer. I'm just using big name politicians that everybody knows. Well, guess what? It could go from politicians to trickle down to the little guy. Here's brother Joseph that we find out is a Hebrew Israelite. Here's sister such and such. You find out she's a Hebrew Israelite. And that her husband is such and such. I'm telling you, man, scary days is coming down the pike. This dude having access to the financial treasury, and the watch of this, he's not even a fucking U.S. citizen. This man, who's one of the richest men in the world, having access to the financial treasury is bad news, man. It's bad news. Let me continue. The letter stated that Tom Krause, a member of Musk's Doge team, had been brought into a Treasury Department employee and will have read-only access of coded data and the fiscal servant payment systems as part of an operational efficiency assessment. This is the kind of access the Treasury provides to individuals reviewing Treasury systems, such as auditory that follows and practices with protecting the integrity of the system and businesses. The letter read, describing Cross as a longtime technology executive. Here's what to know about the Bureau of Fiscal Service. What is the Bureau of Fiscal Service? The Treasury has long been the federal government's checkbook, tasked with handling payments for individual agencies based on funds appropriated by Congress, meaning like a stimulus check, you know what I'm saying? Child tax rebate and all of that. So the fiscal service would be in charge of that. Its systems control the flow of over $6 trillion in payments to American families, business, and other recipients per year. So this man temporarily had access, not control, had access, which is still just as bad. The $6 trillion in payments to America, $6 trillion in payments. The Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service handles most of these payments. About 90 cents to every $1 in federal payments are sent through the little-known division. So pretty much most of the funds, stimulus checks, tax refund, earned income, the child tax rebate and stuff like that, all of that goes through them. Slack here. the Bureau of Fiscal Service. In 2023, in fiscal 2023, the unit dispersed nearly 1.3 billion payments totaling $5.4 trillion, according to the agencies. Almost 90% of the payments were made electronically, and all were made on time, it noted. How did Doge get control over the payment system? The executive order signed by President Trump that created Doge directed all agencies to make sure it was given full and prompt access to all unclassified agency records, softwares, systems, and IT systems. Doge itself is not a federal department. Musk, the billionaire CEO of Tesla, gained control of the system after Treasury's acting deputy secretary, David LeBrick, resigned from his position after more than 30 years of service. LeBrick stepped down after Musk and his Doge organization requested access to sensitive Treasury data, the Washington Post has reported. On Sunday, Musk stated that Doge has stopped payments from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to Lutheran Family Services, a faith-based charity that have been offering social services to refugees. See what I'm saying? Let's read that again. On Sunday, Musk stated that Doge, his agency, has stopped payments from a U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to a Lutheran Family Services, a faith-based charity that have been offering social services to refugees. So if you could be a refugee from another country and you was getting helped out, see? Just like that, he stopped it. You don't see how this is bad news? Because eventually they're going to abuse this thing. Once they get full access to this thing, they're going to abuse it. I'm telling you now. And this impacts Social Security. Lawmakers and consumer advocates are raising concerns about potential impact on government programs, including Social Security, although neither Musk or Mr. Trump had flagged Social Security as the target for cuts. I mean, so they say. Indeed, Mr. Trump said he will preserve Social Security, and while on the campaign trail, vowed to eliminate taxes on Social Security income. But because the Bureau of the Fiscal Services sent monthly checks to more than 70 million, you hear this? 70 million Social Security beneficiaries, some advocates say that they're worried. Yeah, and they have every right to, because you can't trust these dudes. The last thing I want is one of the richest men in the world to have access to my personal information, and if I'm on a fixed income or a retiree, to my paycheck. That's the last thing I want. Musk and Doge now have access to personal information of every Social Security beneficiary and the ability to stop payments for any federal programs they dislike. So if they want to cut food stamps, bye-bye. Goodbye food stamps. Medicare, Medicaid, they could cut that in a heartbeat. HUD housing for low-income folks, they could cut that too. So I'm saying, dark days are here. They're gonna have Eve out in the streets with her children. Jake, that already have a high rate of homelessness, gonna be even more homeless. This is horrible news. And again, I'll say before, I'll say it again. Once Trump announced that this dude was going to be part of his administration, I was like, nah, this is going to end bad. And as you see, this is how bad it's going to get. This is a glimpse of how bad it's going to get. Said Max Richmond, CEO of the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, an advocacy group in the programs and the emails. Seniors, their families, and people with disabilities most certainly not trust Trump and Elon Musk with crucial federal benefits or their personal data. Senator Ron Wyden, a top Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, said in a January 31st letter to the Senate that he's concerned that Social Security checks could be impacted, whether intentional or unintentional. It's appeared that Musk's behavior is forcing out highly qualified and experienced career public servants in order to get his way fulfill Trump's goal of eviscerating the federal budget, including potentially by cutting Social Security and Medicaid benefits for millions of Americans who are already struggling to pay their bills or buy groceries, he wrote. Because that's the whole thing. Trump hired Elon Musk to indulge to go in and pretty much trim the fat from anywhere, any of the federal government agency that they could do away with or do layoffs and cut people or cut programs and cut costs. That's what they're looking for. And along that, you do got access to the federal Treasury. We'll send out money for Social Security, SSI, SSD, so in case you're disabled, folks that might have mental illnesses, you know what I'm saying? A lot of folks stay at home, they get a check. You know what I'm saying? You have certain diseases and stuff like that, you get a check. You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk have access to that shit. So if they want, they could cut it off. Now, yeah, sure, right now it's just a read-only thing. But my question is, what happens when he have full control over that? Because eventually they will. Eventually they will have full control over it. And what you think is going to happen? In response to Wyden letter, however, Jonathan Bloom, a legislative affairs officials at the Treasury, told Wyden that Doge personnel are only able to read coded data in the federal payment and cannot change scheduled systems. Those had not caused payments for obligations such as Social Security and Medicare to be delayed or rerouted, Bloom wrote. Bloomberg was the first to report on the letter. Warren said Bloom's letter raised more questions than answers. It asserts that a set of Treasury staff members have read-only access but fail to answer questions about non-Treasury employees, not those working for Elon Musk and Doge, he said in the statement. Let me see how much longer this thing. All right, a little bit longer. So let me read this last section. That's what y'all want to know. Does Musk have access to taxpayer personal data? Lawmakers and consumer advocates are also raising concerns about Doge's access to personal data for millions of American taxpayers because the Bureau of Fiscal Service distributes tax refunds. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that? They send out your tax refunds. And Social Security payments. There's access to Social Security numbers and bank accounts of recipients. Ooh, man, listen, it's gonna get nasty. Kate Miller, who serves on the advisory board for Doge, didn't respond for requests for comment, but did a repost on the Associated Press article on X with a comment: no classified material was accessed without property security clearances. Access to the personal information could pose risks to taxpayers, according to data safety and experts. Traditional access to the information have been highly restricted, and among the most secured information the U.S. government holds, says James E. Lee, the president of the Identity Theft Resource Center, sent an email to CBS Money Watch. He added, "This is the kind of information that, if found its way into the hands of a bad actor, could lead to a wide range of identity crimes, impersonating to open new accounts or accessing existing ones, theft of the funds in existing bank accounts, apply for new state or federal government benefits, and filing tax refunds, among other forms of identity fraud," which means that, those under Elon Musk and the Doge, that they could use their information to do all kinds of criminal acts. If they wanted to, they could use your information and do all kinds of criminal acts, all kinds of fraud, and have you take the heat for it. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, this could be a Gestapo in the making. We could very well be watching a Gestapo being created right before our very eyes. And who do you think will get caught up in that? Our people. You blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Yeah, the Gentiles gonna get caught up in that, but who cares? But us Israelites, if you don't want to play ball to whatever government agenda they may have coming down the pike, guess what? If they have your information, they could do all kinds of fuckery with your financial information, with your social security number, and have you take the heat for it. Tell you, man, watch and pray. The data is also sensitive because it could be used for intelligence agencies in other nations, including the personal data for government employees or ties that businesses have with the U.S. government, Lee noted. That concern has echoed with Senator Wilder, who, in a January 31st letter to Bissett, questioned granting access to sensitive information to Musk due to significant business interests in China, knowing that Tesla operates its largest factory in China. Musk didn't respond to a request for comment. And that's the end of the article. Now, it was a very lengthy read, but let you know that, listen, this could really go bad. This could really go bad. This can really go bad. This man have access to your financial information that, if he wants, have his agency grab you up. Not even grabbing you up. Look, dude, not even grabbing you up. They could do all kinds of fuckery under your name and have you take the heat for it. Especially if you might be a political opponent. So who's to say, I'm gonna say this now, might be a possible spoiler alert. Who's to say that Elon Musk and them, during these next 4 years, not Elon Musk and them, who's to say in the next 4 years you might have situations where some of these politicians get exposed for, for fraud and for stealing this and for stealing that and for opening this account and open that account. And we see them, doing the perp walk with handcuffs. But behind the scenes, it was something that, you know what I'm saying, that Elon Musk and his folks did. Who's to say that may not happen within the next 4 years? Hmm? Who's to say that? Who's to say that this may not happen in these next 4 years? Hmm? Powerful political opponents, Democrats, Republicans that might be like, wait, hold up, y'all going too far. Yeah, I'm not with this anymore. And they may decide to switch sides and just start speaking up against Trump and Elon Musk. Who's to say all of a sudden they get found with extra millions of dollars in their bank account, or find out, oh, this person was doing business with Iran. And now all of a sudden they're being arrested and being plastered over the news when all it really is was that Elon Musk and his people, because they got access to their financial information, decided to do all kinds of fuckery with it and get that politician framed. Who's to say that may not happen? Say, man, scary stuff. Very scary stuff coming down the pipe. Again, Elon Musk is not to be trusted, especially now with your financial stuff. Again, the absolute last thing you want is that man to have any kind of access to your financial information. Then I stand on that. And you read this last article, I'm gonna get ready to close the show. It's been a long show, but it's very much needed. Very much needed, y'all. Please bear with me. Bubba Kashaw. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe. Bubba Kashaw. Subscribe, like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Share the stream. You know, whether you're listening live or listening on the replay. You know what I'm saying? Just take heed to the message and take heed to the scriptures and apply them to your life, because we really are in the beginning of sorrows. It's only going to get worse from here. So let's continue to our last segment. This is an article from the Associated Press. I'm going to post all the articles in the comment section or in the description box after the show, so you guys can read on your own time. From Associated Press, Elon Musk Doge Commission gained access to sensitive Treasury payment system, AP sources. And, you know, here's the scumbag himself. Keep in mind, this dude is not even an American citizen. Why does he have all this power? It's on February 1st. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, run by President Donald Trump's billionaire advisor and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, has gained access to sensitive Treasury data, including Social Security and Medicare customer payment systems, according to two people familiar with the situation. The move by DOGE, a Trump administration task force assigned with finding ways to fire federal workers, cut programs, and slash federal regulations, means it can have wide leeway to access important taxpayer data, amongst other things. The New York Times first reported the news of the group's access to a massive federal payment system. The two people who spoke to the Associated Press spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. The highest ranked Democrat of the Senate Finance Committee, Ron Wyden of Oregon, on Friday sent a letter to Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, expressing concern that officials associated with Musk may have intended to access the payment system to illegally withhold payments to any number of programs. To put it bluntly, these payment systems simply cannot fail, and any political motivated meddling, let's read that again, any political motivated meddling in them risks severe damage to our country and to our economy. Wyden said. And that's the end of the article. Oh no, there's more, but let's focus on this part right here. Again, this is going back to what I was saying before. This thing could be used to deter political dissent. You know what I'm saying? The government could institute a new rule, and all of a sudden, if you don't agree, guess what? You might get your funds cut off. You might be a retiree, and they might, you know, God forbid, there's another pandemic, and they might do a new job mandate. Guess what? You refuse to take it, they could cut off your funds. You collected Social Security, they could cut you off. Bad news. Very bad news. The news come after Treasury Acting Deputy Secretary David LeBrecht resigned from his position at the Treasury after more than 30 years of service. The Washington Post on Friday reported that LeBrecht resigned his position after Musk and his Doge organization requested access to sensitive Treasury data. The fiscal service performs some of the most vital functions in government, LeBrecht said in the Treasury to a letter to Treasury employees sent out Friday. Our work may be unknown to most of the public, but that doesn't mean it isn't exceptionally important. I'm grateful for being able to work alongside some of the nation's best and most talented operations staff. The letter did not mention Doge requests to access Treasury payments. Musk on Saturday responded to a post on the social media platform X about the departure of LeBrecht. The Doge team discovered, amongst other things, that payment approval officers at the Treasury were instructed always to approve payments, even if known fraudulent or terrorist groups. See? Even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. See? This is what they're going to use. This is what they're going to use to justify cutting people off. Or fraud or terrorists. You know what I'm saying? If you're a church organization and you receive government funding, and see, that's another thing. Let me say all that to say this, bro. This ain't to take jabs. This ain't to take jabs at anyone, but I'm out to say this. Check this out. A lot of you Israelite organizations that's under the 501c3, they could use this as justification to cut you off. Cut off all your funding. You understand that? This is one of the excuses they could use. Oh, it's a terrorist organization. Or they're speaking out against the small hats. And listen, that's what I'm saying. They're going to crack down speaking out against them peoples. You know, they're going to crack down on that. This is what I'm saying. Let's continue. They literally never denied a payment in their entire career, not even once. He didn't provide proof of this claim. Doge was originally headed by Musk and former Republican president candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, who jointly vowed to cut billions from the federal budgets and usher in mass headcount reductions across the federal bureaucracy. Rami has since left Doge as he molds a run for governor of Ohio. Yeah, but not for nothing, he probably knows what's going on. He probably caught wind, or they probably told him what he planned on doing, and he was like, nah, I think I'm just going to leave here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a scene on Family Guy where someone says something that make the person uncomfortable, and they just had their hands down and started doing that step back. That's pretty much what Ramaswamy does. Or Ramaswamy probably did that SpongeBob, like, yeah, I'm gonna head out. Yeah, I'm not with all this. You know what I'm saying? But I say all that to say this. Like, listen, this stuff with Elon Musk, it's bad news. It's very bad news, man. It's very bad news. And again, all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff with him being in charge with those, listen, that could be used as a bullying tactic to bully people into submission. So if you don't want to follow the government, you want to rise up and speak up against the government, they could cut your funds now. Or you're supposed to get taxes, no more income tax refund for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's a lot of Israelite churches out here that's under 501c3. This would be the perfect opportunity for them to cut you off. Because they could say your organization is a terrorist organization. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna call any camp name. Y'all know who y'all are. Or y'all know who they are. This is the perfect excuse, the perfect storm for them to get by funding. That's what I'm saying. This dude have your what's the name? It's bad news. It's very bad news. You know what I'm saying? And now with this plus the whole thing with the foreign prison, it's horrible. Horrible. So basically, to wrap this all up and put a bow on it, I honestly believe with this new administration that listen, a lot of folks go back to crew number 3 and 4. Major point number 2 and number 3. Being sent away to foreign prisons may not only be exclusive to career criminals or legal immigrants. And at number 3, Guantanamo Bay may be used. Guantanamo Bay and also the prison in El Salvador may be used as a weapon against nonviolent citizens for intimidation tactics. So if you think you're going to speak up against the government and their wickedness and be unscathed, they might have something for you. On these last days, it's going to be, we're going to seriously need the protection of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Now go back to Elon Musk with the thing. Remember, this dude runs he's the head of Tesla, the Tesla cars, and he's working on that spaceship thing because he so-called want to go to Mars. But also he working on other projects like the Tesla bots, which is bad news. You know what I'm saying? We all seen iRobot. We know how that ends. We all seen Terminator 2. We all know how that ends. And his other thing is the Neuralink. You know what I'm saying? We all see Elon Musk, and we all heard about the Neuralink. And this whole thing with the Neuralink that they're going to place inside of people's heads. And guess what? With that plus Elon Musk running the show, bad news. And remember, was it out of last year or the year before? I did a show on The Fed now. You know what I'm saying? Where they plan on moving the money digital, which is a federal government programming. You think because Biden's no longer in the office that they're going to do away with that? Nah, they're going to continue that. Slowly but surely, that they're going to phase out. They're going to phase out the actual Federal Reserve note, the actual money, and move to the Fed now. And they're going to force you. They're going to put you in a position where they're going to force you to play along. And guess what? You're part of the Fed now. You're in the system. So now is, if you're not in the Fed now by the first of insert, whatever time period here, your Social Security going to get cut off. You won't get your tax refund. You won't get paid. So now, basically, they're going to use this as a bullying tactic to get you to play ball, to get along with the Neuralink, to get along with the Fed, to go with the Fed now, to participate in the Fed now. If the Neuralink takes root, if that stuff really takes off, to take the Neuralink. Huh? And if it ain't that, guess what? The chip. The Neuralink is the chip. The microchip. The RFID. Planted right into your forehead. All of these is bad news. So now it's gonna be it's really gonna become a case of, hey, you take the chip, and guess what? If you don't take the chip, guess what? You won't get paid. We know your Social Security number. We know where you work at. We know you want a fixed income. We know you file taxes this year. You're supposed to get a certain amount back. You don't play ball, guess what? We can cut you off. Or let's do another situation. They could pass mandates. Future mandates. And this time, now they got the ball. Now they got the power. Stricter punishments. Oh, you don't want to play ball? Okay, no problem. We can cut you off. Oh, you think you about to protest? What the Trump administration is doing? Okay, no problem. We can find out where you work. We can find out your Social Security number. And trust me, it really wouldn't take that long for them to find out who you are and where you work for. Okay, Tyrone Jenkins. All right, we see he works for the Department of Sanitation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we see he works for the Department of Sanitation. Okay, we see he filed his taxes, and we see his wife is disabled and she's getting the check. Okay, all right, so we gonna cut his wife off. She not gonna get her check at the beginning of the month no more. Or, he got taxes. He got 7,000 coming back from his taxes. Okay, yeah, we gonna take that. We're gonna put a freeze of that. We can put a freeze on that. He not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? Or as what I said with the Fed now, when I did the show a couple years ago, you know what I'm saying? Like they could one thing that they could do with the Fed Now program is give you give you money, but also give you time periods, give you a time limit on when you got to spend that money by. So, like what they did with the stimulus check was that $1,400 $1,400 you have a child. So if you have two children, was it like 2,800 or something like that? No, I forgot the number escapes me, but like you got a certain amount. You got a certain amount for yourself, and if you have a child and stuff like that. And what was being said was that a lot of folks, when they got their stimmy, they either invested or they saved it for a rainy day. And some of the senators at that time was not too happy about it. So what they could do with this Fed now, they could give you money and be like, okay, you got 90 days to spend this, or else it's just gonna disappear out your bank account. So that don't think you're gonna save this to buy a new house or buy a car or to move or what master plan you got. Nope, they could take it. Or they see you patronize a business that they're not with it, that they're not feeling, they could take that. You buying from prepping websites and gun stores and stuff like that, they could freeze your account. A point I always bring up, I'm about to close the show, but the point I always bring up is this. During the trucker protesting in Canada, one thing that they did was that Justin Trudeau, like the trucker protests, they were protesting out of the mandates, the jabs. They were protesting, I believe it was the mandates, and that a lot of the trucks like they start driving and they like block the streets and they were protesting, hey, this ain't right, this ain't fair, so on and so forth. And what the Canadian government did was froze all the truck drivers' bank accounts. But what ended up happening was that there were GoFundMes that was created by the citizens of Canada to take care of the truckers. What ended up happening was that once the Canadian government found out about that, they froze the supporters' bank accounts too. So who's to say that may not be on the horizon with this Trump administration and this dude Elon Musk running Doge? So to put a fine bow on this is this: the foreign prisons, Guantanamo Bay, the prison in El Salvador, and not just that, Elon Musk and Doge having control over over the financial the Treasury could be used as intimidation tactic, to use as a weapon against nonviolent citizens for intimidation tactics. They put out a new law, or you're not trying to play ball, okay, we're freezing your account. You want to protest all in the streets and block the streets and block the bridges and highways? Okay, you find out who these people are, we freeze your bank account. You can't get nothing. You can't deposit nothing. You can't withdraw nothing. We found out that you getting a tax refund. Oh, we dead in that. We snatch. They find out you on a fixed income. You might be a retiree and might want to support the protesters. Yeah, they can freeze your account. No more checks for you. Even though you're a retiree, or you might be disabled and getting SSD. And if you dare act stupid and get out of pocket, guess what? They could toss your ass right into Guantanamo Bay. You start rioting or anything like that, guess what? They could ship you right off to El Salvador as a political prisoner, as a political dissenter. You know what I'm saying? You start speaking out about the small hats, guess what? Same thing. Same thing. God forbid, You know, it could be another pandemic, and might be on some. Hey, you're gonna have to take this jab, or it's gonna be problems. You like, nah, I'm not doing it. They could do the same thing, cut you off. Hmm? Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. And now you're hearing all the stuff that they might want to outlaw. You know, outlaw the Bible. Now, allegedly, the Republicans and President Trump claim to be Bible following people, which we know that's cap. We know that's a lie. But what if it goes where religious persecution? Anybody claim to be following the Bible, found reading the Bible, quoting from the Bible, you could get sent away. You start speaking up against the small hats, telling them, saying that, hey, they're not the people of the book. They're not the ancient Jews and Israelites of old. Guess what? You get dubbed anti-Semitic, and you get financially cut off, or you get shipped off to these prisons. The United States government is under a tyranny. It's going to become a straight tyranny under oligarchy. A government where the rich controls everything and have every say so over your life. And if you dare speak up, hey, you're gonna be in for a bad time. So let me get this last scripture and say my closing words. Matter of fact, before that, I'm gonna just want to get a quick, show you guys a quick definition of what a penal colony is. You know what I'm saying? Which is exactly what they could do to you. A penal colony or exile colony is a settlement used to exile prisoners and separate them from the general population by placing them in a remote location, often an island or distant colonial territory. Although the term can be used to refer to a correctional facility located in a remote location, it is more commonly used to refer to communities of prisoners overseen by wardens or governments having absolute authority. That's basically what this whole thing, this foreign prison thing is about. These foreign prisons, listen, you get sent there, it's pretty much a wrap for you. Historically, penal colonies have often been used for penal labor in an economically undeveloped part of a state's, usually colonial territories, for a far larger scale than a prison farm. So it's basically slavery. It's basically slavery all over again, which a lot of people, whether deportees or American citizens, you're gonna get chucked over there. Illegal slavery all over again. And your hard labor, guess what? It's going to be used to build up foreign countries that's in bed with Babylon the Great. See what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. And again, it's not going to stop at criminals and deportees. They're going to take it to political dissenters, political opponents, protesters. You speaking up against the wickedness of a wickedness of a president, of the government. The government might sign a new mandate in the law that you like, hell no, I'm not with this. And you decide to protest, and guess what? You could get found where you get tossed over there. Off to a foreign prison you go. You know what I'm saying? And it could be used as religious persecution as well. For us commanding keeping Israelites, this might be used on us as well. So let me quote my last scripture. Revelations 2:10. Fear none of the things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulations 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt in the second death. So yeah, this is what's to come. They're not going to stop at, I'm telling you, and I can guarantee you could take it to the bank, that if this thing becomes law, and if they have full reign to go full sail with it, to go all the way with it, it's not going to stop at political prison. It's not going to stop at, violent migrants or violent criminals, career criminals, of American citizens or foreign nationals with permanent residency or green card. It's not going to stop at them. This eventually might go for protesters, political prisoners, and possibly religious persecution. You call yourself an Israelite in 2025, it might not go well for you. That's for myself included. If you say the small hats, the aha, and you say them folks are not the real chosen people, it might not end well for you. They might use these foreign prisons to send you there too. And if not that, what they might do on a local scale, cut you off. Again, a lot of some of these Israelite churches are under the 501c3 grant, which means they're government funded, meaning I think it's federally funded. The last thing you want is this dude to talk about your organization is a terrorist organization, and next thing you know, your funding get cut just like that. Jacob Trouble is here. Jacob Trouble is here. Some of us might get cast into prison. Some of us might get our funds cut off. But the main point is to not lose faith. To not lose faith. You know what I'm saying? So let me get my last scripture and I'll close the show. Slocky, the show has been very lengthy. See, I just got a lot to say, had a lot to get off my chest. For those who watching the replay, y'all write this out. I'm gonna try to put bullet marks, bullet points. You know what I'm saying? So in case you have to stop at a certain section, so it make it easier for you to catch back up, for you to catch on where you left off at, because it's a lot to take in. So let me get this last scripture and I'll close the show. So that's the wrong. What's the name? Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. Wait, hold up. Let me see. Wait, slot it. My last scripture. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. But he shall be saved out of it. Verse 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord of hosts, that I will break his bonds, break his yoke off thy neck, and burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord their God, and David their king, who I will raise up with them. So yeah, so that's basically what will happen to the repenting Israelites that don't lose hope, that don't lose faith. You know what I'm saying? Let me read verse 10 because there's a lot of meat in there. Verse 10, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, said the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and shall be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, said the Lord, to save thee. Though I will make a full end of the nations where I have scattered thee, yet I will make a full end of thee. But I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So yeah, so the Lord is going to do a great culling of our people. You know what I'm saying? What the scripture says, 2/3 going to get cut off and die. But the remnant that get brought through the fire, you know what I'm saying? He will bring us back into our homeland, which is Jerusalem. Yeah, and that we will be at peace, and none of these Gentiles will ever trouble us ever again. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High will make an end to all these nations that meaning that He gonna take these nations down, that have scattered us, that have tortured us, that have punished us. He's gonna take us. He's gonna take them down. But before that could happen, the Lord gonna have to put us in check. Some of us that might need some little tighten up, and the Lord's gonna give us that spanking and tighten us up. And for those of us who might be wicked, you know what I'm saying? For the Israelites that might be out here committing wickedness, kinds of atrocities, they're gonna get caught up and they're gonna get judged. So that's just it. Slacking for the very lengthy show. To give all thanks to the Most High Yahweh, and the beloved Son Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And I hope you guys are edified and watch, fast, and pray that ye be not be given into temptation. So I hope you guys are edified. It's your brother Shamal Kasai signing off. Say shalom.